Okay, with that said on that, let's move on to consent. All items are considered routine or implemented at earlier council action and may be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion unless requested. Are there any items on this that folks want to have removed for a separate vote? We'll go to there first, and then we'll go to the anybody who wants just comments or questions. Okay, I'm seeing no hands up. So is there any items that we need additional questions, comments from my colleague for the consent? Okay, seeing no hands up, then is there any action from council on the consent, please?
To the chair, Linda is raising her hand.
I'm not seeing it. Oh, I was looking at the virtual. I don't have you all on my. I don't have you all on my screen. So.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'll make sure to do the raise hand.
I apologize. Thank you.
2 hands, Linda.
Thank you. Thanks, Mayor Medina. I just wanted to ask if we could. I had a couple of questions about the water well maintenance.
What item, please?
That's F and H, please.
F and H for questions and comments. Got it. Okay. So with nothing else to be pulled separately and to go to this, let's go to item F. Adopt resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a 5-year contract with Eaton Pumps Sales and Services for an annual water well maintenance and rehabilitation in the amount not to exceed $200,000 for FY 2020-2021. Councilmember Mason.
Great, thank you. My question is, there's a reference in the staff report to well number 16 being really the priority here. Is the intention to use the $200,000 for well number 16, or is the $200,000 a sum that we're approving for wells as they need the maintenance? Because there's also another well that's inactive, so I'm wondering if that money's intention to be spent on both at some point.
Director Tan.
Correct. Hi. Good evening, Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council. Yes, you're correct. This $200,000 will be for well number 16. Every year what we try to do as part of the budget cycle is that's part of the wells rehab program. We allocated about $200,000 in funding to rehab wells in certain cycles. So since well 16 recently stopped working and now it cannot pump any water until it's repaired, so this $200,000 will go towards the well 16 first.
Okay, great. And then is there an impact on the water rates based on this particular this $200,000?
No, because it's already budgeted as part of the the rate plan, because we've already established the 5 years rates during the rate analysis. So there's really no adjustment of any rate just per doing just this project.
Okay, great. And then just one more comment. I think when the water quality was an update to the plan, it says here that it was completed in 2012 and then it's coming to us in 2021, an updated one. I just wanted to make sure that I request ahead of time that when that comes to us for approval, that we also receive the metrics of those that have already been completed on the 2012 plan, because I imagine the plan is going to be costly.
That's correct. Now we're still in the process of completing the plan. There's draft documents that are coming through from the consultants that's preparing the plan for us. So once the draft document is complete, we can bring that item to council to share whatever the information that's in there and to show you to provide information in regards to what projects have been completed in the past 5 to 10 years as we're implementing the water master plan documents, and as well as the recommendations that are included in there.
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for the clarification. That's all for me. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember. Okay, nothing else. We're going to move on to, I'm not seeing any other virtual hands. Item H. Let's see, that's the urgency, we adopt the urgency ordinance establishing a temporary moratorium on evictions for non-payment of rent by small business commercial tenants directly affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Councilmember Mason.
Thank you. I just wanted to ask the city manager, and this might also be a question for the city attorney, but under this, now we're looking at an extended period of time that I think wasn't foreseeable in the previous iterations. Can we get a notice to everybody who has a business license that this resolution is being extended, and then the time frame, and then maybe even a copy of the resolution or a link to the resolution?
Jovan, Grogan, City Manager, Councilmember Mason, we can look into that. We will also continue our partnership with the Chamber of Commerce and the Bay Area Entrepreneurship Center, as well as leveraging the personnel that has recently come on to BayRac that are out there pounding the street, making contact with our businesses. We will certainly look into the ability to do a SNP file and mail everyone a notice. One of the things we know is that sometimes those pieces of mail get tossed away, and so we really want to get the information to the Chamber of Commerce and BayRac because they're actually out there touching our businesses and let them know.
Okay, that would be great. I would just comment that on the day that we had the street closure, I spoke with a number of businesses, and with the exception of those that had emailed me during COVID, none of them were aware that this was in place. So it would be great if we can get the word out, and not via email, but actually through a mailer. That would be great. And then my second question is in regards to the request for hardship that's in the resolution. What exactly does that process look like for the landlord to get relief and to request that hardship?
Sure. So we'll have our city attorney, Mark Seferano, address that.
Great, thank you.
So thank you for the question. We don't have any experience with that because we have not actually received any such requests. Okay. But generally the process would be that an owner can file with the city manager a request for relief explaining, why it's a hardship, and it has to be accompanied by certain documentation that's specified in the ordinance. And then the city manager has the ability to decide whether or not that hardship waiver should be granted. So in brief, that's what it involves. But as I said, since we haven't received any such applications, we haven't had to go through that process.
I would just say, because I think that would be a significant amount of staff time, but if we notify, which I really hope we notify all those with a business license, that we also have a method of having, clearly on our website, the instructions for how owners can request hardship waivers. Just so that everybody's clear on what their rights are under this resolution.
Right, just one other comment, Councilmember Mason, as the city manager indicated, staff can look into that. As far as the business licenses are concerned, obviously not everyone with a business license is a commercial landlord. So I don't know that staff has a way to sort who commercial landlords are and who aren't, just based on their business license, but certainly staff can look into that.
Yeah, well, I think to save staff time, I think it's good to let everybody who has a license know, and obviously they're going to know whether they're renting a space or not. But for those who are commercial owners, I do think that you have some landlords who maybe initially were looking at a couple of months of non-payment, and now they're looking at a year. And so I just want to make sure that they are aware as well of what their rights are, and hopefully between the parties, I'm hearing that everybody's working together of the mom and pop shops I've spoken with. But honestly, the other side of that is some I think are just embarrassed to ask or don't know what the process is. And I've seen 2 of those now close. So I just want to make sure everybody knows what's happening and what their rights are around this resolution. But I do really appreciate staff extending this. I think it's needed. So thank you.
Councilmember Davis.
I was just going to say, I don't know if another piece of mail is really going to solve the problem or solve the communication issue. I mean, if we all look in our own mailboxes, I think we're overwhelmed by mail. But I encourage staff, and I think it's already being part of the process, is to work with the chamber and other organizations that can actually have a relationship with the businesses. So the businesses have some culpability on themselves as well, and I think a lot of them are just overwhelmed with a lot of it, right? So there's a lot of information. So what's more important? I think getting them the resources, having a relationship with the chamber. So I would actually kind of like to know is what sort of communication does the chamber have, and and what success are they able, what percentage of businesses are they able to communicate with, or that they have good contact information, so we can kind of really funnel information to them. Because I think it's a lot, and maybe there's some sort of, I know they offer workshops, et cetera, but as a small business owner, family-run business, there's a lot that was coming at you, and I know people who are struggling with those types of things. So I think one mail or from San Bruno is just another piece of mail on the tons of mail we're already getting. But I'd really like to be more proactive with the chamber and other organizations that can actually get out and communicate to them.
Councilmember Medina.
Yeah, I'd like to tag along with Councilmember Davis on that. Instead of another piece of mail, maybe include something in the utility billing, maybe something in the front of that envelope, or as you look at the bill to see how much it is, that there's some kind of highlighting, that just something short, something sweet about how more information is available, and having some type of metric reported back from the chamber would be helpful to see how much outreach really is being connected. That would be good to know. Thank you.
Okay, there's nothing else, and I see no hands. Is there any action by council on consent calendar items A through J?
Motion to approve.
Second. Motion made and seconded. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Davis.
Aye.
Councilmember Mason.
Aye.
Councilmember Medina.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Salazar.
Aye.
Mayor Medina.
Aye.
Motion carries.